Hello and welcome to episode 3 of UK NBA. I'm Peter Wells.
And I'm RyanHillback.
And the season has officially kicked off. We're already nearly a week into the new season, 2014-2015 NBA season. We've had plenty of action, haven't we? Absolutely brilliant.
It's been one of them, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Edge of the seat action, edge of the seat stuff.
Yeah, already plenty of amazing performances. New stars coming through from all over. New teams maybe on the rise or on the decline. And sadly, more injury news that we'll bring you a bit later.
Yes, I was hoping that list wouldn't get any longer, but we keep talking about it every week and it keeps getting longer. And the injuries keep getting worse, don't they?
Yeah, and a couple of big injury reports to bring you, including from another one from the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah.
I'm guessing I'll be getting sick of that by the end of the season.
I think the fans of them have probably had enough of watching our videos.
I think we are, yeah. Can't blame them as well. It's down to like 7 players now.
Yeah.
On the roster.
No idea what they're going to do. The coach will have to stick his jersey on the way to go.
Real soon, yeah. That's the way. But we'll get right into it because we've got plenty to bring you today. We've got, injury news. We're going to bring you a few of the games as well. A few stats from the games. And also look ahead at this week's big games, including key matchups and our other 3
predictions. How did we do last week in our 3 predictions? We got Spurs.
Yeah, you went with the Spurs.
Right, yeah, that 101-100, so that was quite a tight match.
Yeah, very good. And I went for the Mavericks in a close game, so we've got a close game right, just didn't get the right team.
And a decent start for your team, the Miami Heat.
Miami Heat, 3-0 without LeBron James, so it's working out absolutely perfectly.
I mean, do you want him back?
No, we're alright.
Are you okay?
Chris
sure?
Bosh is there,
Yeah.
And obviously Cavaliers off to a... Is it 1-1 start? Lost to the
it's been a bit of an indifferent start.
Yeah,
but
huge win.
We've seen some good court action as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've got that same sort of continuity as the Miami Heat have got. And I reckon do you reckon he'll probably be reconsidering his decision now? He should have stayed with the Heat, but no.
Well, we'll stick to that subject. We'll stick to the Cleveland Cavaliers because LeBron James, 8 turnovers in his first game.
Yes. Very impressive.
To the Knicks. So he had a really tough game. And Carmelo Anthony was the one that come away with a W for the New York Knicks.
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
that game. And but then obviously you saw in the second game when they played the Chicago Bulls in game 2. And we just look at some of these stats.
Yeah, we'll just get the stats up for you. Statisticians.
Yeah.
And they struggled a little bit, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. You see here on the first game of the season, LeBron James, 17 points, we've got 5 of 15 shooting, not great for his standards, and obviously the 8 turnovers was not at all near his standard.
No.
Carmelo Anthony went off for 25 points, but got back on the horse really in the next game at the Chicago Bulls. LeBron James had a classic game of 36 points and 8 rebounds.
That is more like it.
That's more like it. 4 steals as well. That's what you want to see from your star player. And obviously Kevin Love chipping in with 16 points and 16 rebounds as well.
As he always does.
So, exactly.
There's always somebody that tops up the scoreline, which is good to see.
And obviously got that winning a classic overtime game. Absolutely sensational.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And I think I said the other day about the Chicago Bulls about this being one of those games where you can't call it. It's very narrow.
Yeah.
But Cleveland will look back on that as a win that they deserve. Possibly.
Exactly.
And, it was a tough match.
Yeah, they played really well in that game. So it was one of them where they needed it. They couldn't start 0-2.
No.
Pressure on them, and I think they just settled down in that game and showed what you're going to see for the rest of the season from the Cavaliers.
You can see a bit of grit, a bit of determination, but not the consistency, which I always keep coming back to that word consistency because I think in most sports it's important for consistency.
It's very important, yeah.
Miami Heat are starting to find that, Cavaliers not so much.
And you see with obviously Miami Heat here, obviously 26 points in the first game for Chris Bosh, got about 30 in the next game against Philadelphia.
Fantastic game for him.
So I think it's a case of now Chris Bosh coming into his own, like many people said.
And there's a nice sort of difference between the scorers, 95-107. It's a bit more of a clear-cut win.
Yeah. And then obviously 114-96 in the next game.
Yeah.
It's big points for Miami that kind of, in a way, struggled outside of LeBron last season.
I was impressed in certain passages of play with Philadelphia, though. Because
normally very good.
Normally the people associate them with being the pushovers along with Magic, but I was impressed with certain aspects of their play. And it'll be sort of, they'll be quietly pleased with that.
They'll be pleased with that because until the fourth quarter, it was a very close game. In fact,
it was tight, wasn't it? Yeah.
At one point, it was 92-90, and then after that, you know, kind of Miami just completely took over.
Well, that was always going to be the case, wasn't it? Really, but at least they put on a valiant display and showed that certainly they're not necessarily the pushovers that people expect them to be.
Yeah, and you see like certain performances from the likes of Brandon Davis and Tony Rolton had an amazing game.
It was impressive.
21 points and 10 assists. So that's kind of what you're going to need from those kind of players before obviously the new draft picks like Joel Embiid come back into the team probably next season now for him.
Yeah, because that he's out for the season, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So you know, it's going to take a while for them to kind of all integrate, but the fact that they're all playing hard, they're getting out there and giving it their all and pushing.
I enjoy watching them.
Yeah, they are. They're an exciting team to watch as usual, you know, fast break, you know, and everything. So, and they're playing hard because, you know, they've got to do that to survive in this league. So now we're going to have a look at some of the injury news then. So
is that over to me then? Okay. Well, it's Russell Westbrook.
Oh,
it's disappeared.
There you go.
And we had a problem with it last week as well, didn't we? I think
we did, yeah.
Every time on the injury report, something goes wrong. And it's not Russell Westbrook, as I just said, it's Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
He's broken his second metacarpal in his right hand, 4 weeks minimum.
Yeah, and that's a massive injury because obviously Kevin Durant's already out for 6 weeks. He'll be reevaluated in about 5 weeks now. And now to add to that, Russell Westbrook's now out injured. The other star player, and
it's not great, is it? I know Kevin Durant how's his recovery from we had a couple of reports that it's doing better, but it's still a bit of a worry.
Still, you're looking at the end of November, aren't you? December before he's going to be back. Same with Westbrook now. But the good news for Oklahoma, they won the other night.
They did, without Kevin Durant.
Got the win over the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
And before that, they got a very close game with the Clippers. They only lost by 3 points when Russell Westbrook went down.
Again, seriously impressed with Oklahoma.
Yeah, they really are fighting, you know. You got players like Perry Jones who really stepped up massively. Kendrick Perkins had a big game as well the other night, as well as Serge Ibaka. So those
big
players
games
are really stepping up.
And that's what you need to do. You need the group to rally behind the team, show you're not a one-man side, and we'll keep developments on Oklahoma Thunder. Hopefully not more injury news for them next week, because I bet I'm a bit sick and tired of reading their players out.
You want to see them, you're feeling that they're just that little bit away now from the NBA Finals.
You would imagine so, but if the injuries pile up, then who knows what might happen. Julius Randle, fractured tibia, season gone.
Obviously broke his leg on the first game of the season. That was a massive
It was horrific,
blow.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a bad injury, and
wish him all the best, because again, we only spoke to him in the season preview, didn't we? About
we did,
that draft pick who had a bit of a chip on his
being
shoulder.
That talismanic figure as well.
And
it's the LA Lakers, isn't it? So it's another injury. How many injury problems? 8 is it now? 9?
Several now. Yeah, they're down to about less than a 10-man roster, I think.
And again, you look at that and you think, how are they going to cope with that? How are they going to survive with so many players out? That's going to be another one where you're going to have to think. So, I think they'll be just dishing out jerseys to the fans eventually. The way their injury list is piling up.
Kobe Bryant's been performing magnificently, and
as ever.
Yeah, you know, putting in the points, and obviously other players are having to step up. But in all fairness to them, they kept it really close against the Clippers again on Friday night. And we'll talk a bit about the Clippers. They're 2-1 at the moment, but not looking absolutely magnificent like they did last season.
No, but they're chipping those points away, and it's the hallmark of a good side is when you're not playing well, get the win.
Get the wins,
bit dodgy in patches, but they've come out on top twice out of the 3 games.
And lost last night to the Sacramento Kings.
Who themselves have looked quite impressive so far this season.
2-1 at the moment, so
you know.
Hopefully they will, because they've got some good players in that roster that really need to step up, and so far this season they've stepped up in the first week.
Far they've done exactly what they've been asked to do. They've put the plan in place, and as you say, 2-1, good start. Derrick Rose sprained ankle, and another injury news for their team is Taj Gibson's ankle, but they're both questionable for tomorrow night, so that's not great.
Again, obviously they both missed the other night, mainly Derrick Rose. Precautionary really, I think he could have played, but obviously with his injuries in the past, he's a star player, they don't want to risk him, and they got the win anyway, with Jimmy Butler hitting 2 late free throws to get a 1-point win over the Timberwolves.
Tense
There was, he always come down to the 0.5 to go, and he had 2 free throws to win the game, and he hit them both.
That's some pressure, isn't it? That
massive pressure. So that's what you call working in the clutch.
Absolutely.
And he did so.
And a bit more injury news. It's Patrick Beverley's hamstring and Dwight Howard's knee. They too are questionable.
Yeah, for tonight. Yeah. So again, it could be game time decision.
Do you think the coach is going to go there realistically? Do you think he'll risk him, or is he going to say, let's be a bit cautious? And
it's going to be interesting because who are they playing tonight as well? Let's have a look at that. It usually comes down to who they're playing, really. Philadelphia 76ers are playing, so it's one of them where
so
you don't
Houston are going to be thinking about, are they going to risk those two players? Again, because we just mentioned earlier about Philadelphia starting the season well.
Well, it could be one where they have to.
That they might think to themselves, maybe if Philadelphia had lost their first couple of games, and then maybe could have sat back a little bit. But they've started the season well, and they've shown that they're no pushovers, so they might have to throw them in. But I don't think either of them will start.
No, they might come off. Especially Beverley will probably come off the bench.
Beverley will.
Dwight Howard's obviously a star player.
Yeah. I think risking him could have more repercussions because if they played him and the knee got worse, and then they would be out for longer than he needs to be. David West could return for the Pacers this week after being out for the start of the season.
Yeah, that could be a big return for them because they've already lost Paul George for the season. George Hill has been out early in the season. CJ Miles, also, and CJ Watson have also been out. So that could be massive to have David West back this week.
Yes, they're going to be thanking their lucky stars that got him back because. Again, that's another team. Is it just me or does the injury pile-up seems to be every team?
Yeah,
we're talking about teams that are in trouble. We're talking about LA Lakers, the Oklahoma Thunder. All sides are in serious injury trouble. And
it's not what you want to see, is it?
It's not. I think we had. I mean, at the start of last season, if I remember correctly, there wasn't as many injuries as this.
No.
Really
piled up. As people have said, this has been one of them injury seasons. And unfortunately, a lot of teams have been hit by the injury bug. So we're going to go through a bit of last week now, and as we mentioned earlier, Spurs opened the season with a win, 101-100. I think was it Tony Parker who got the last?
Yes, bucket? It was.
Do you believe?
I believe so. Yes.
And as you say, it was come down right to the end. Yeah, Tony Parker with a free that gave them the lead. And unfortunately, despite several chances, the Mavericks couldn't respond.
They couldn't. But it was edge of the seat stuff. I mean, what a way to start the season. I mean, but then again, part of me was thinking, you look at the stats here and you're thinking the rebounds, impressive.
Yeah.
The defensive rebounds, that kind of figure is good, isn't it? I mean, and you're looking at sort of 38 total rebounds for Spurs, 33 total rebounds for the Mavericks. And then defensive rebounds 9 each. Yeah. Defensive rebounds 24 for the Mavericks, 29 for San Antonio.
So just that close. But you look at that as well, 50% shooting.
Well, I mean, look how tight it is. It's just it was 38.1 for Mavericks. So there's a bit of daylight there. So. But what a game.
Yeah, that was a big difference. Look, Tony Parker 4 of 4 from outside in that opening game, which is sensational. Obviously, Spurs went on and lost the next game, obviously, to the Phoenix Suns away from home. So, bit of bringing back down to earth for them. But obviously, that was a big emotional game and a great win for them.
And it opens it right up. I know it's only like the first few games. But with Spurs losing one, you think it's there for the taking.
It's already there, isn't it? Where it's kind of you're seeing in the West Conference. I mean, you look at some of the games that we're going to look at in a minute. Than this week, and just some of the matchups are just sensational.
Yeah, you take a pick because I know we're going to be predicting some, but I'm even more nervous this week than I was last week.
Because they're really tough to predict this week. We went through a few others, obviously Portland Trail Blazers taking apart the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, but it's not surprising with the injury list that they've got. 106-89 was the final score to Portland.
Really tough start for OKC. Obviously, we talked about Miami and Chris Bosh really stepping up, 9 of 18 shooting in that opening game.
Look at the rebounds for Miami. 44 total rebounds.
Yeah, which is where Miami struggled last season.
Which is where exactly what I was just thinking to myself.
Yeah.
Thinking they've really improved that so far. Bosh being one of those key players.
Yeah, that's what you kind of expect from him. 15 rebounds. People were criticising him last year for not getting
and he has certainly answered that criticism.
Yeah, he has.
It's going to be a case of LeBron who soon, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I've already seen a picture of 3-0 and you mad LeBron.
Yeah.
With Dwayne Wade picture. So, yeah, obviously up there right at the top of the Eastern Conference right now.
Another bit of a hammer in here for the New York Knicks. Chicago Bulls 104, New York Knicks 80.
Yeah, it wasn't a good start for the Knicks, and Carmelo Anthony just 14 points, 21 points there for Pau Gasol, and 11 rebounds.
I keep going back for this total rebound. Chicago Bulls 47 total rebounds.
Yeah, it was really good again, compared to the Knicks' 38. So really did do well, did the Chicago Bulls, and really kicked their season off and proved themselves as a real, genuine title challenger this season. I'm going to look at this one, the Pelicans, because I'm really impressed so far with Anthony Davis. This was a ridiculous rebounding game.
This was madness, wasn't it, really?
I mean, Vucevic for the Orlando Magic got 23 rebounds.
But Anthony Davis, 28 points.
28 points, and then add to that 17 rebounds and 9 blocks.
What a performance.
And Omar Ozzy got to himself 17 rebounds.
Yeah.
And just sensational performance all round, like 62 total rebounds for the Pelicans. He's sensational, 34 between those two big men. And we're going to look a bit at Anthony Davis because I've got my team of the week in a bit. And don't want to spoil anything, but Anthony Davis is right up there because
it's going to have to be, isn't it? I would have fired you as my co-host
if
you had not put him in the team.
Because he's shown this week that he can take his game to the next level and be one of those.
He didn't bring his A game. I mean, what's ahead of the A game? He brought his double A game.
Double A game, triple A.
Well, I don't know what that is, but
the batteries, but yeah.
We're making things up as we go along here because I don't know what A game, but it was just fantastic, really.
And then later in the week in the 104-109 loss, again 31 points, 15 rebounds.
Anthony Davis again doing the business, and Chandler Parsons and the Mavericks defeated.
Yeah, very good. Yeah,
but they were good.
Yeah, 20 points for Parsons, 17 points up there for Nowitzki. Also, I was impressed with Tyreke Evans, who was poor the last few seasons, wherever he's been. And really needs to step it up.
Sorry, I misread that. I think I mentioned that.
The Mavericks didn't get the win, just about 5-point win.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously...
That was one game I missed this week.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't see that. I saw the box score for that. And really looking at the box score, you'd think, how did the Pelicans not win with 22 points, 10 rebounds and 9 assists.
Look at the offensive rebounds as well. 47 again in the loss.
Yeah. And
5 points isn't a lot, is it? I mean,
no, it was just one of those games. And, it was one of them where Anthony Davis, you're going to get a lot of them this season, unfortunately. So we might have to get used to that a bit. So we've looked at plenty of those games from last week. You can obviously go to just NBA.com or NBA Game Time and check all the results, all the stats on there. But
or you can just keep watching us.
You can keep watching us and we'll talk about as much as possible. But we're going to get on now to this week's big matchups. Highlighted a few here. Rockets against the Miami Heat.
Yeah, the Knicks against the Pistons.
Yeah, again, I'd still look to that because, and same with another one in a bit. I think this Knicks Pistons could be a good game because it's a case of them two teams could really be pushing for that bottom end of the playoffs to sneak into that 8th seed or 7th seed. So that could be an interesting matchup. Spurs Rockets last season, the Rockets swept them.
Yes, but they've got the bit between the teeth, Spurs, with that one defeat that they've got, and they need to. They'll probably be disappointed relatively with their start because their game that they had the 101-100 that could have gone either way.
Exactly. So
that was no comprehensive victory at all. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. Mavericks Blazers as well. What do you reckon?
Again, and we look at that. Raymond Felton could be set to make his debut for the Dallas Mavericks after his 5-game suspension to start the season. And what an absolute classic matchup that is again. Going to be so much riding on both teams with Damian Lillard on one side, Dirk Nowitzki, Chandler Parsons.
It's going to be another one of those expecting fireworks.
We're looking forward to that
every week. I mean,
that's what we get in the West. And look down again, Blazers against the Clippers as well. Another really good one.
Eye-catching game. Should be good. And then Warriors Rockets.
Rockets, another one. Could be two teams that could be meeting each other in the playoffs, possibly. All these teams could be meeting each other in the first round of the playoffs. It's just that tight in the Western Conference. But to our 3 games of the week.
Yeah, last week it was Spurs. I went for Spurs.
Yeah.
The Cavaliers.
Cavaliers game,
And can you remember the final one?
The other game, but I don't believe I can remember what the other game. It was was it the Trailblazers? No, it was the Clippers against.
It was the Clippers. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I think we both went with the Clippers, didn't we?
We did,
in that game.
So our games of the week, the Clippers-Warriors.
Clippers at the Warriors, and this is probably one of the best games of the season, basically, because we know the rivalry between the Clippers and the Warriors. They don't like
we don't need to tell you guys that the rivalry, do we, really?
They don't like each other. Blake Griffin obviously draws a lot of fouls due to his size, his athleticism. And the Warriors, the likes of David Lee, who could be returning this week, Andrew Bogut as well, always get at him, and the rest of the players, so it could be a heated matchup. And again, a case of these two could be meeting each other in the playoffs in the first round. They're certainly going to be two of the top teams in the whole of the NBA this season.
Cavaliers-Blazers.
Cavaliers-Blazers, again, another big game. It's a case of the Blazers have had a really tough start, and this is the start of a tough week.
It's not getting any easier,
add to that, they've got the Mavericks and the Clippers this week. So that's why I picked that one. It's the start of a really tough week.
Yeah.
Want to kick it off in style. And the Cavaliers obviously want to continue that form they showed against the Bulls. LeBron, could be another big game for LeBron, I think.
Well, I think first and foremost, he's had a decent start to the season, but not necessarily reached the pinnacle.
No, so it's going to be one of them.
So, he'll be looking for... have the bit between his teeth and looking to get some decent points total. And our final game of the week that we've chosen is the Grizzlies against the Suns.
Yeah, again, I chose this one because I think these two, based on the end of the season, these two could be fighting for that final or 7th or 8th place in the conference, for that final playoff place. They did last season, the Grizzlies got it, so... a bit of revenge on their cards for the Suns, I think.
Absolutely. So once again, you've chosen the 3 games as you did last week. When am I going to get a turn is the question?
Well, you
probably
need
never.
To turn up on time.
Well, have you not? The bus was late.
Well, what are we going for then? Clippers at Warriors?
It's got to be the Clippers for me.
You're going for the Clippers?
Yeah.
I think they lost the other night, so I think they're going to bounce back, and I'm going to go with that and say the Clippers.
Right, so we're both in agreement with the Clippers. Cavaliers, Blazers, your pick first.
I really like the Blazers. They're a really great offensive
No pressure.
But I think it's going to be one of them again where LeBron's going to step up. I think Kevin Love's going to have a big game. And although Kyrie Irving, I really rate him as an offensive player, I don't think he's the greatest at the other end. And I think Kyrie Irving could have a big game as well. So I'm going to go with the Cavaliers to, again, pull away in the final quarter.
Okay, yeah, I've got no option but to go for the Cavaliers. I can't bet against your own team. And finally, it's the Grizzlies and the Suns. What are you going for there?
I'm going to... it's an interesting game because it's all about the speed for the Suns. The 2 point guards playing at 1 and 2 position in Dragic and Bledsoe. And then you got the real tough, gritty Grizzlies. They had a game this week, 71-69 they won it.
How close was that, yeah?
You know, and keeping them points down on the Hornets side. That's what the Grizzlies can do. Marc Gasol, Zebo as well. And I think I'm going to go with the speed of the Suns to take that one.
The speed of the Suns?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm inclined to agree, even though I don't want to.
No.
I'm going to go for it close. I think there'll be 3 or 4 points in it.
Yeah, it'll be another
the Suns will win, for me. And you mentioned that we have a team of the week, don't we?
Yeah, I've had my team of the week. I've also got the player of the week. So I'm going to start obviously in the point guard position. And this was a pretty tough one because there's a lot of top quality point guards out there. Not all of them have performed brilliantly this week. Obviously, Eric Bledsoe is one of those top ones. As well as the likes of Chris Paul. Norris Cole had a brilliant opening game. But in the end, I can't even remember who I went with as my point guard, so I'm going to go straight to the shooting guard. Where, again...
So for all that build-up?
Yeah, all that build-up, I can't remember who I went for in that. But the shooting guard that I've chosen at 2 spot had to be James Harden in the end.
No choice, was
Very good week for the Houston Rockets, led to some really good wins. Obviously, right behind it would have been Kobe Bryant, but unfortunately, despite his amazing performances, there wasn't a wins to kind of back that up, really. A point guard I went for was John Wall.
Now he's remembered.
Yeah, I went for John Wall. Again, he's done fantastically well with doing exactly what you want to see a point guard do. Plenty of assists, plenty of points, and I think he's done that consistently this week. Well, he's got other good performances like Rubio coming with 17 assists in one game. Got fantastic performances from the likes of Damian Lillard in one game, but not in the others. so it was tough to go with somebody. But John Wall was consistent. And now the front court, that was a bit easier. I went with a small forward, Perry Jones of the Oklahoma City Thunder, because he really did step up big time this week with obviously injuries to Kevin Durant and now Russell Westbrook. He picked it up big time in the last game and against the Clippers.
He absolutely did.
And I was really impressed with him. So he goes into the team. Next to him at the 4 spot, the power forward, obviously my player of the week, Anthony Davis.
There's no question, is there?
Not at all.
I would have got up and left if you had not said that. Player of the week, Anthony Davis, absolutely 100%.
Sensational. 17 rebounds in one game, 9 blocks and 20 odd points. And then 31 points and 15 rebounds. Sensational and absolutely brilliant superstar player right now.
Yeah.
And finally, in the centre position, it's a
drum roll, please.
Tough pick to the centre because there's plenty of players to pick from. Chris Bosh would have been right up there as one because he's had a sensational performances for Miami. And Miami are 3-0.
So you're not going to go for Bosh?
But I've gone for Marc Gasol at the Memphis Grizzlies again. Okay. They've started 3-0, and I think it's all thanks to Zach Randolph as well at power forward. But the main one in there with the points and the rebounds have come from our man Marc Gasol, so he gets the centre position. Well,
there you go then. That is all we've got time for today, because we have decided to keep the video slightly shorter.
Yeah.
And right, next week we've got a couple of new features coming.
Yeah, we have.
What's our new features coming? We've got a Did You Know feature.
Did You Know feature, yeah.
We're going to bring that up. It's something wacky that we hope you don't know, or else it'll be a bit pointless.
We really are hoping that we won't bring you any injury news whatsoever next week.
Well, I've got a feeling that we will. I am also going to give you, I'm going to test your knowledge as well, because I think that you're the man with the knowledge. And I want to put to the test how much you do know. So I'm going to come up with 10 questions. And I'm going to ask Pete all 10 questions. Yeah. He's not going to have a clue what the questions are until the video next week. No. And see how many he gets out of 10.
And if you've got any questions, do put them at the bottom in the comments.
Stick them in the comments. Tweet us. Twitter's always at the bottom.
Yeah.
Our Facebook page is always at the bottom. That's the end of episode 3. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. See you next week for episode 4.
Oh, shit. Wrong one.